Hello and welcome to video 1 in this MLB workbook series, which deals with the prerequisites and basic workbook setup. The workbook will run on a PC with Microsoft Office installed. We recommend Excel 2016 or later. That's not to say that it won't run on earlier versions, it's just that we haven't fully tested it. It also runs on a Mac in the PC emulation mode. That means running Boot Camp or Parallels on top of the native system. It doesn't work on a Mac with the Macintosh version of Microsoft Office installed. That's because VBA, Visual Basic for Applications, is not fully supported on the Macintosh version. 32 and 64-bit versions of the PC Office are supported. If you have the Microsoft recommended installation, you are probably 32-bit at the time of this video. Now, the workbook is actually, it actually has a file extension of the ExcelSM type, as opposed to the ExcelSX, which is the basic Excel workbook. This means it contains both spreadsheet data and file structure and VBA, which is code. Because VBA in the wrong hands can store malicious code, we strongly urge you only to download the workbook from ExcelDFS.com. If you have another website or organization that says we've cracked the code and made it better in some way, then you are opening yourself up to potential risks that those people have inserted malicious code into the workbooks. So we can only warrant that there is no malicious code in if it's downloaded from ExcelDFS.com. To download the workbook, simply go to the home page of ExcelDFS.com and click the MLB workbook link, and it will go into the downloads folder of your browser. Once downloaded, we simply open the workbook. Once the workbook opens, you'll be greeted with a page about the terms and conditions. Just press agree to that, and you're now on the basic home page. So we just have to do a couple of things here before we save the workbook. Firstly, sign in. Now, the account that you create is good for any of the workbooks, any of the sports that are supported on ExcelDFS.com. So if you don't have an account, just go to this section and create a new account. Put all the details in. A validation email will be sent to your email address. You click that and you have an account. So I'm just going to log in here. Now, this login is essential for you to communicate with the API server, because there's a lot of data needed. So I'm in now, and what I'm going to do, as you'll see in a minute, is I'm going to save that login with the sheet so I never have to log in again as long as my account remains valid. Just one other thing I want to do though. I go to settings and I set the path for the inbox folder of my browser, or the download folder, where when I use the browser to download data files and things, and I happen to know that that's marked as downloads. So okay, I've got the same one also for DraftKings, which most people will have. Don't forget this step, because it's needed for batch uploads of your lineups to FanDuel and DraftKings. So once I've done that, I've put in those two paths, I've logged in, then all I need to do is save as. I could save this as, for example, I'm not going to save it in the downloads, I'll probably save it on the desktop as Gary, I don't know, blank, I guess, Gary blank MLB, and save that. And so what we've actually done now is, any time that we go out to any of the API functions to get data from the cloud, we don't have to log in every time. It sends our credentials with the data request. So that, in essence, is all we have to do to set up our basic file. So to recap, we've downloaded the workbook from ExcelDFS.com to avoid any possibility of adulteration of the code. We've saved our name and our password so that we don't have to do that every time we log in or use the API. We've also saved the browser download paths in the file as well, so the workbook can now frequently and readily communicate with the data API. So that's about it. Let's get down in the next video to quick start, how we actually play MLB with the workbook. Well, thank you very much for listening, watching, and I'll see you in the next video.